Okay, so I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong about the finals. And you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. I never made a video on the finals, but it has been a game that I've been silently following for a while. A lot like the brick shooter Call of Duty killer I covered previously on the channel. This was a game that I really wanted to see succeed, and I'd say it is. Finals is a 3v3v3 or a 3v3v3v3 online multiplayer game with complete area destruction with tactical gunplay. It's super interesting and pretty unique in my opinion, and I absolutely love it. Now, I know I usually cover single player games on this channel because those are frankly my bread and butter, but I do love a good multiplayer game, especially with my best friend, and this is what the finals has given us. It's given us a lot of fun over the past few days. Now, I have not played it at a very high level. I know that there's a hacking problem going on, and there's probably some other things that a lot of people will disagree with because I just haven't spent as much time with the game as they have. However, coming from someone who was a pretty decently middle to high level Call of Duty player for several years and then just switched over to games like Valorant and CSGO for a while, to kind of dropping multiplayer games in general, except for some battle royale games here and there, the finals really hooked me in a way that I kind of wish other games had. Rainbow Six Siege was one of my most anticipated games for a long time before it came out. And when that game came out, I played a lot of it, but over the years I slowly grew out of it, lost interests, and this game reminds me of that, but on something, because it is just complete mayhem the entire time. If you don't know, the finals released actually on the day of the Game Awards. It was a shadow drop, and for me, I had kind of lost touch with where it was in development. I just knew that they said it was coming out in 2023, but I just didn't know when, and they shadow dropped it, and I finally played it the other day for the first time, and that was, I want to say, 4 or 5 days ago, and I've played it every day since then. It's just a part of my daily routine now, and I really like it. Before I keep writing the game for everything I love about it, let's just get the few negatives out of the way, because duh, there's gotta be some negatives. For starters, I don't think the classes are as equally balanced as they should be. Basically, in the finals, you have 3 classes to choose from. You could be a light, a medium, or a heavy. The light is quicker, moves around quicker. It's the one I personally like more. They're a little more focused on traversal, while the medium class is a little more focused on aiding your teammates. They have a heal gun, they have defibrillators because when you get knocked, you can get revived by a teammate. And then the heavy class is pretty much just a tank character, but really, I personally, maybe it is just because I play more of the light class than the medium class, but I felt this way on both classes. It feels like the heavy is just really hard to play against if the enemy team has a heavy and then has a medium player just healing the heavy the entire time. It just doesn't really feel balanced to me. And I mean, there's obviously other ways to go around it. You have grenades and Molotovs and all these other things, but I don't like getting one shot by the heavy when I'm either a light or a medium class. But again, it makes sense why they're not even. Each class has a big advantage and a big disadvantage. So overall, the game feels fair 99% of the time, but there are some matches that get kind of frustrating in a fun way, but they still get frustrating just because of either the teammates you have choosing classes that are already picked. Again, there's not like a meta, at least what I think. I have one in my brain, but I don't think there's a set meta. Like, there's not a set team that is much better than anything else, at least from what I know. And so sometimes it just gets frustrating. It also, one of the things that I don't necessarily like is I don't like that the guns feel super arcadey, but I can't customize them. It's something that kind of bothers me. I get why they did it. They wanted it to be more fair and not end up like the newer Call of Duty games. I kind of wish they took the approach that Fortnite did with weapon attachments, where you can have like set different ones. Basically, the way it works, for example, one of the guns is basically like an MP5 from Call of Duty. And with this class, there's a certain sight on it, and the ammo is just not that great. Again, it's an SMG, so it makes sense. I just wish that I could maybe get rid of the sight, but then upgrade the mag size or some sort of trade-off customization, because pretty much everything else in the game is customizable. The only thing you can't change is weapon attachments. And I mean, I understand why they did it, and a part of me enjoys that, but the other part of me doesn't like it that much. That's pretty much it, honestly. I will say, I know that players at either very high levels or just people who are on this game 24/7, there has been a lot of talk about hacking and a lot of cheaters in this game, and not that surprised to me. This is the studio's first game, and it's very successful, and it's a free-to-play game. So I'm really not too shocked. Apparently, a lot of people who play from the Chinese servers are the ones doing the hacking. I can say that I've played with a lot of people who had Chinese characteristic usernames that weren't hacking. So again, that doesn't mean they're from the China servers. It's just they had the character names, and I didn't experience any hacking. Again, I've been on the game a pretty decent amount. I am only level like 6. That's just because I suck. And so I'm not really getting a lot of experience. But I haven't experienced the hacking, but I will admit that I've heard people talk about it. Now we're just going to go straight into what I like about this game. It is arcadey as hell in the best way possible. When I say that this is the most arcadey shooter I think I've ever played, I mean it. You can destroy the entire map. You can get revived from any death. And I actually really like the way the death timers work in this game. Basically, since you're on a team of 3, there's not unlimited revives. So, well, there is unlimited revives, but there's not like you don't instant respawn. That's what I'm looking for. Basically, when you die, you have around 20 seconds that you have to wait, or your teammate can pick up your little character, because when you die, you become a little action figure, and they can either revive you, or they can like throw you out of the way to revive you in a safer spot. But if you are dead and waiting to respawn, and then your team gets wiped, as in all 3 members of your team die, then you all go into a team respawn countdown that resets at around like 15, 16 seconds. It is the most irritatingly fun mechanic I've ever had, because when you are the first person to die, it's super irritating, because you got to wait for everybody. You got to make sure that they don't die, and then get mad at them when they don't clutch up a fight. And like the worst thing is when you have 1 second left to respawn, and then your last teammate dies, so you have to wait another 15 seconds. But it feels really fun and exhilarating when you are the last person, and you have to either choose to like flight and let your teammates respawn, or just try to hold down the site if you did capture it. That's basically what the game modes are. There's 2 really set game modes. There's quick match, and then there's tournament. I have not touched tournament, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't like doing reviews when I've barely touched a game, but I've had so much fun with just the quick match, I feel like I can talk about the game. Quick matches, there's the 2 modes. There's 3 teams of 3 or 4 teams of 3. The 3 teams of 3 game mode is kind of the main one that I have played. Basically, there's something that you or the enemy team has to capture, and then you have to deposit it into, it's almost like an ATM machine, and the ATM deposit takes a long time, and if you get 2 of them in a row, or just 2 of them in general, the game ends. So it can happen. Matches literally take like 8 minutes, which is something else I really like. It's super fast paced. Matches are so quick to finish, especially if one team is leagues better than the other team. It's not even going to be close, and you'll be out of the game within 5 minutes. But you can steal the deposit from another team. So like if if it's counting down and you steal the point from the enemy team, the countdown doesn't reset, which is something I really like. It just keeps going. And there's like a certain time limit. It's almost like defusing a bomb in Counter-Strike or in Valorant, where right before, if you try to change and capture the deposit before the time limit runs out, and then the time limit runs out, you don't get the deposit. So it's like a good way of trying to make sure you manage the time properly, and it's just another way to have a really good skill expression system. And the last thing I want to just gush about with this game is the customization. There is so much that you can do to make it unique for yourself. You can make your whole class feel unique. You can make your character look unique. You can customize every piece of clothing, the face, the hair. You can customize the entire class. I know, like, for the light class, I'm saving up to get a sword because I can have a sword in this game, or a pistol. My best friend runs the automatic pistol, and it's really strong. So there's just a lot of customization options that just really hammer home how great this game is. If you've been kind of on the edge of playing the finals and it looks like something you're going to enjoy, I'm telling you, you probably will. It is extremely arcadey, extremely frustrating, but extremely fun all at the same time. This is going to be the end of this video. I'm trying to do this video as quick as I can because I just want to gush about this game and then send you guys on your way. I hope you guys have an insanely good Christmas. This is my Christmas video, and there's no face cam because I'm trying to do things differently every time I make a video. I don't know. I need to pick a lane. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. It's been Nate, aka Wicked, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great Christmas.